Well, welcome to the Mountain Leader training course. This is going to be split into two videos, days 1 to 3, where we're doing a navigation day, a rope work day, and then a rescue, conservation, land access, moving people, a search, and crossing the water. So that's in videos 1, and then the second part is 3 days on the expedition, which is 2 nights wild camping, and on that we'll be putting a lot of things that we learnt. So please join us on this 2-part video. Please like and subscribe if you like the videos, and enjoy. Welcome to the Mountain Leader training. So this is actually the end of the first day, and here we are at the old man of Coniston. We're looking out of the old quarries there. It's been a fantastic first day. What we've done is navigation legs, going over here, picking out features, and then moving up onto the rough ground there. And the take-home thing for me today has been using contours much more, not relying on paths, just stopping, not looking at the map. I got told off for looking down at the map. Don't look at the map and have a good look at your altitude, the aspect and the angle of the slope. So spending a lot of time kind of looking at the shape of the ground. And Chris went over his movement philosophy, which was to be straight and strong, fluid and dynamic. And then in the navigation, talked about kind of having lots of confidence, but be aware that you're not going to get it wrong, get it right every time. Can't even getting it right wrong. And sometimes you're going to have to move to probe and travel to unravel. So you've got to explore around your position, probe around your position, and you travel, and then where you are unravels. So that's been a fantastic first day. So now I think we're going to go and have a little debrief back at the vehicles, and everybody's going to talk about their strong points for the day and what they've really enjoyed, what they've learnt. And Chris is going to again give a weather lecture.
Right, so who would like to start? Should we work round? Do you mind starting?
Not at all.
No? Okay.
What's the question? What did we learn today?
Yeah, just sort of lessons or key points for you from today.
Yeah. I've well, a few things I've never done before, like navigating the way Jon taught us today.
Yeah, I've never done that.
Stepping out. Doing the square was very interesting for me because.
Yeah. So just explain that, because we didn't do that. So just.
Yeah. So just going out on a bearing and then turning 90 degrees after 100 meters, and then again 90 degrees as well. So you walking a square. Over terrain where you can't, there's various horizons, so trying to get back to the place that you started, and understanding that when you're walking up and down hill and along gradients that you do actually change the length of your pace.
So we very much encourage both of us people to fail, and fail stands for, does it stand for anybody? First attempt.
I can know that.
You know, so getting stuff wrong is good. Yeah, you had a yeah, so you know, so getting stuff wrong and understanding why is the first process in learning, isn't it? It's crucial. If we don't allow ourselves to get stuff wrong, then we can't, you know, we can't learn. We just go away knowing what we don't. So, yeah, great. That's great. Yes.
I think you said about changing habits. You know, my way of calculating distance and things like that, I rely on the scale on the edge of the compass. So switching to using millimeters of meters and then
Yeah.
having the mental calculation that was
No, that's really good.
The other thing, Chris,
Yeah.
jump in there, sorry, that we didn't talk about today that has a big impact on your pacing is leaders' legs. And that happens on training courses and particularly on assessment courses, where you walk along like this chatting to somebody and then it's your turn to lead a leg and you feel the pressure of that leg and suddenly you accelerate and increase your stride length and increase your cadence and it throws your pacing.
yeah.
So there's all kinds of
And your
factors that come in,
timing, yeah.
you know, and it's that anxiety. I just want to get this done as quickly as possible, get it out of the way, tick the box, and it's done. And your pacing goes to pot, and so inevitably, you don't do as well as you should.
No, that's really good. Great. Okay, Jan.
What I picked up was this technique when you're going up steep bit, when your feet basically face down
Yeah,
and you walk up sideways.
yeah,
I quite like that.
yeah, it's great. Yes.
Yeah, for me, I think just actually the finer details of the navigation, reading the gaps between the contour lines. Yeah, there's still a lot for me to learn, but that was a real eye-opener today.
Good.
Yeah, the real fine points on the map that you have to work really hard to work out. I think very rewarding. Just being shown, what the different features look like
Yeah.
on the ground and on the map.
Yes. Good.
Stopping to investigate.
And contours are king.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
know that one.
Contours are king, and everything else lies.
Turning
on
into
top of that.
contour geeks, I think.
Yes,
That's
yes,
what
you
it
do,
is.
you do, and what we spent quite a lot of time, probably you did as well, looking at different scales and types of maps. So we were looking at OS maps, and we were looking at Harvey.
Mine was the lights on moment was talking about paths sometimes not being there, and they change, and streams dry up and streams change. So just going, okay, you know that they're there, but really go for altitude, angle, and aspect. That was like so refreshing to me, because I thought I've looked at paths and I thought this is not right so many times. So just forget that. Don't look down at the map. Look around you and relate the features and the contours to where you are. So big one for me.
Yeah, great. So there's a couple of things there, isn't there? Yeah.
Okay, that was a great summary from everybody for the first day. Good learning points, and now we're going to go into a wee weather lecture that Chrissy's already sent us on a PDF. So we'll close now, and we'll see you tomorrow. We're doing steep groundwork tomorrow.
Okay, great. So weather. What do you need to know? So who wants to read out what you need to know from the syllabus?
Good morning. Welcome to day 2 of the mountain leader training. And this morning we're in the Langdale Valley. There's Harrison Stickle and Piker Stickle, and we're going to be doing rope work and steep groundwork today.
Identify foot and hand holes, didn't you? Yeah. You might be able to work out a route for them. What happens if I go into sort of this area, for example? Am I able to do anything to help you here?
We're now practicing toes down, heel onto little ledges. Talking about preferred route over increasingly dangerous ground. We don't want to fall down.
Now there's a really nice scramble in Sourmount Hill at the bottom of Borrowdale. There's an awful little traverse and a little step up above a pool. So if people go into it, they're going to be wet up to here. So you can put a direct belay around a block at the top and drop that loop down to people just to help them up. But it's just a confidence thing really. It very rarely gets weighted. But that's brilliant for that, because you can be nice and big, so people can step in on uneven ground and adjust it up.
Yeah. Is that a grade 3? Is it Sourmount Hill?
It can be, but you can just miss bits out. So it'll be 3, 2 or 1.
I think you trained and assessed Chris Ray last year. He's my brother-in-law.
Is he alright?
Shall I throw the rope down, or do you want to be lowered?
Can do the lower thing again? Yeah. Well, I quite enjoyed it actually. And you will show how to
Just that, yeah.
how to lower ourselves down as well.
Yeah, we'll do all that.
So it would have been have Yanis here more away from the edge in preparation for lowering. Okay, Yanis? Ready? Yeah. Got it. Okay, nice straight leg, fall backwards. Lean out slowly. Nice wide stance.
One way.
One way it's easier than the other way, yeah.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, for sure. Great. Yeah.
There's lots of good stuff, Chris, but specifically one that sticks in mind is the briefing technique. Yeah, it's very simple, very good things to avoid, very
Good.
things
Do you want
to
to share
do.
that with the others, just so?
But just where you are, where you position yourself in sunlight, so people can't see,
Or
to get
wind.
distracted, or wind, or noise, or background water. So
Yeah.
position yourself, and also if you are being a team, then be together rather than you far away and them looking up at you and talk about we rather than you. So
Yeah.
then they feel much more looked after.
Yeah.
And what
yeah.
you say as well, we went into as well.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
the physicality of it I thought was very interesting.
Yeah, and particularly when people are feeling threatened, we just talk about penguins, so we're coming like this. But he's like, he doesn't come, he doesn't touch, he's not done it all day. Yeah, and then we penguin in like
So we
this,
get into your comfort space
and then
then.
you're going to brief us, so you come and stand there, and the wind's coming behind me. Yeah. The sun's behind you, the wind's behind me, and come on, snuffle it.
Yep.
And now you can whisper at us without shouting. You can see us all, you can look at us all in the eye easy, yeah? And it makes a totally different feel to
Yeah.
standing up on a rock. You're going to do this, or, and sometimes that command and control thing is actually appropriate. You do need to be able to do that.
Yeah.
But mostly it's we're going to go and do this, we're going to go and look after it ourselves. And this is how we're going to work it, yeah? So you are leading, but it's a very kind of, inclusive leadership style. Yeah, good, anything for you?
Yeah, lots movement, lots to learn and practice there. But I think looking after the group with the short roping, I think, although it looks simple, you really have to work very hard at making it right.
Yes.
And then
some little habits of your own, particularly for you, that you've practiced so much.
Yes.
And now then show up, don't they? That's
Yeah.
the only problem with that.
Well, it's always hard when you've got into bad habits to break them and learn
you're
new stuff.
expert at it.
Yeah.
Do you know what an expert is? Do you know the definition of an expert? I'm definitely one of them. An X is a has-been, and a spurt is a drip under pressure. I'm definitely an expert. Great, yeah. What about you?
Yeah, it was like good to get the rope back in my hands and start to feel a bit more kind of like some old remembered skills are coming back.
Yeah.
And I just felt like, this is something I'll be able to do, that I can go away and practice.
Great.
Start short roping my kids over rough ground and stuff.
Stairs and
Just like looking forward to that next step, and I've had a good time with nice people in a beautiful place.
yeah,
So
there you go. What's not to like? Yeah, great. And then anything for you?
Great, Chris.
Yes.
I really appreciate it. The knot and the short rope, that's what I feel I'd need to concentrate most on.
Great.
But somebody said previously the movement and the actual short roping between you and the other person.
The links are crucial. Aren't they?
I think that's going to be a big something I need to work on a lot.
So what was our 3 factors when we're looking after people on steep ground?
Body position and body position.
There we go. Body position, body position, body position.
Negotiated with the landowner, so that's obviously the bottom was water, right? It's a particularly beautiful little part of the lake, so people are wanting to access that. So it's been negotiated.
What are these negotiations then? Is the money changing hands, or is it more just
I don't know.
a bit of goodwill?
I think it's probably a bit of goodwill, because if you allow people to go there and it's controlled, they're not going to wander anywhere they want. So it's a managed access rather than a free for all, I guess.
People stand on Causey Pipe and take a picture of it coming down because they It's literally like a perfect zigzag coming down, and of course that's the shape that it's easier to walk down.
I guess they're a necessary evil, but if we're leading the group, we should encourage them to use it and not step off it.
Yeah, I mean, I'm a lot older than most of you, and I've been coming to the lakes for an awful long time. And the first time I came here, I was struck by how you could look at a fell and you could see a 15-metre wide path going up the fell. You know, the paths were like ridiculously wide, and that's not the case anymore. You know, the path going up here 30 years ago would have been at least 10 metres wide.
Really?
Well, because it gets trodden down, it gets muddier, so you could go a bit further out, and a bit further, you know, the next person a bit further out.
Good morning, welcome to day 3 of the mountain leader training. Got a group of swimmers coming in there, accompanied by a canoe. We're just on the banks of Lake Windermere at Ambleside, and we're going to walk along here and have some lectures at Ambleside Youth Hostel. So it's been tremendous so far. I can't believe it's day 3. It feels like 5 days so far. There's been so much fabulous content. So day 1, just to summarise where we are so far. Day 1 was about navigation, moving over kind of steep ground, using our bodies, demonstrating good movement, and then a weather lecture at the end. Day 2 yesterday was moving over steep ground, safeguarding groups over steep ground, use of the rope if necessary, but more about group management and thinking about how to avoid using the rope, but if it was necessary, which ways you might use it to safeguard the group. And I really enjoyed the confidence rope or short roping work. That's all about momentum management, isn't it? Stopping somebody's potential energy, so their mass and the steepness of the slope becoming kinetic energy, i.e. mass and velocity. So really enjoyed that part, enjoyed that very much. So day 3 now in the youth hostel, we're going to have a talk and a lecture about group management, including remote management of groups and route planning. Oh yeah, I forgot to mention at the end of day 2 yesterday, we had a little talk and discussion about land access, rights of use of the land, and conservation aspects. And I use the word lecture loosely because in the group here we've got a really good cross-section of experience, people from all walks of life, and of course significant outdoor experience, but from slightly different angles, so everybody's bringing their own mix into it. So I can see Mark here walking along, and Tina's just on the jetty here, just met up with her as she's walking to the hostel. So we'll ask Tina how she's finding it so far. So Tina, how are you finding it so far?
Tiring mostly. It's really, really good. When you're doing it, it actually feels quite relaxed. The trainers are so good that you don't really feel like you're being watched or assessed or checked or anything. They just leave you to do what you've been told to do and step in and assist if you ask for help. But it's been really, really useful. It's tackled some of my foibles, fears head on. I'm not a fan of steep ground. I'm competent at navigation, but I need to practice more, I know that, and it's given me some food for thought in that area as well. What else? I'm really looking forward to the expedition. Because
yeah, I was going to ask you about that, because I think today, after this lecture, we're going to do a search and rescue exercise, aren't we? Going up on a local hill, and one of the leaders is going to disappear up there. So there's plenty of space to hide up there.
There's lots of knolls up there.
Yeah, I was thinking of taking the binoculars, but I don't know if they'll be much use because they perhaps won't want to be found. And then this afternoon, I know we're going to do a river crossing. So that leads us on to the expedition. So how do you feel about the expedition?
I feel quite excited about the expedition. I've done some backpacking already this year, so if I hadn't done that, I'd probably be, am I going to be able to carry my pack all day? Am I going to remember everything? But because I've now got my packing list sorted and tested out some new equipment, I'm fairly confident that I'm quite happy with what I'm going to be taking with me.
Fantastic.
And it's going to be fun spending time with everybody on the course as well and learning from them.
Yeah, that's the other thing. They're a great bunch of people, kind of diverse. And I was really worried I was going to be like the really old guy, but I am the old guy. But there's a spread. They're not all 30. Marvellous.
I'm the old girl.
When at the mountain leader, do you tell people to stop?
Stop.
And to abandon their ambition? Is that your gift to say you're not going to do this today?
It is. I've done it once that I can think of. Most of the time, they're sort of making that decision with you. They're starting to realise that you're moving them into an area that actually they're not that comfortable with, or you've moved them away from the area that they weren't that comfortable with. As a start point, I work on 20 minutes per kilometre, so that's 3 kilometres per hour. So I'm doing a 15-kilometre day. Yeah, so that's going to take me 5 hours. So they're starting at 9 o'clock. They're going to be finished by whatever time, 2 o'clock. Then I add in 10 minutes per hour rest time. So in the first hour, they might not rest at all because they just got up, they're on the way. But at some point, they're going to rest for half an hour, perhaps. So in that 5 hours, they're going to rest for at least 50 minutes. So that's suddenly a 6-hour day. So now they're not finishing at 2 o'clock, they're finishing at 3 o'clock. And then I add in 10 minutes per hour faff time.
10 minutes.
Yeah? And faff time is taking a photograph, it's going to the loo, it's going through a style, so it's suddenly become a 7-hour day. So now that 15 kilometres is getting them into camp at 4 o'clock. And that works for most groups. So you've added almost 2 hours onto your day for them resting and faffing. And that works. And I want my teams into camp by 4 o'clock because I know from experience that for most young people, the thing that they enjoy and take away from D&V is what they do between 4 o'clock and 8 o'clock the next morning, right, on the campsite with their mates. It's not the 5 hours carrying really big rucksacks, weighing far too much. And my start point with D&V, and I say this to every single group I work with, and we work with like 20 odd groups a year, bronze, silver and gold, you will be very concerned about your D&V and passing it. You will pass it unless you go home. Right, so you're going to pass, so forget about that. My concern is, and my aspiration is that you get to the end of this experience and you want to do it again. That's my agenda. I don't want you to be doing this to finish and then never go into this environment again. I want you to do this bronze, silver or gold expedition and think, wow, that's been fantastic. I really want to do this again. How can I make it better for myself, easy for myself, more enjoyable? We've got cake, we've got tea, we've got ice cream. Right, if you can get there for 4 o'clock, you get your ice cream. Then I know they'll definitely be there for 5.
Eating poppy seed cake and drinking lattes.
If it's a lower limb injury, if it's a leg injury, you're probably not going to want to move them ideally, particularly if it's a femur. If it's a spinal, obviously you're not going to move them. If it's an arm, there's a chance that you'll be able to move somebody. So
dynamic and safe. Yeah, I want to know if I've got your life literally in my hands, that I can stop. I love you, big fella, but I'm not convinced I could. I can definitely stop carrying him. Yeah, I can definitely stop if I'm just supporting him.
Yeah, so Mark, can we sit on the seat, hands on the shoulders, right, under the knee. Now, is that easier than the
Mark's having a great time.
Go back towards the group, smile for the camera. Yeah. How can we make that more comfortable for Mark?
It's going to be not very
Like
wide,
a stretcher.
so.
Right, 4 people, 2 people on each pole.
Oh, sorry, Tina. Yeah, it's all right.
Bend your knees to the edge of the
On my knees.
You just lie there.
Ready? Who's going to count?
3, 2, 1, hop!
Oh, that's really good.
Work out where we are, and we're going to do a little exercise. So our brief is that we're the supervisors, like we talked about this morning, and one of the groups come in with 1 participant less than they should. Yeah, so we've now got to go find them. And all we know is the last place they were seen was Lily Tarn. So what I'd like you to do in your teams is...
Lily Tarn.
You're grinning like you know where Lily Tarn is. So the shouting the name thing really, really works. But if you're going to shout the name, what do you need to do?
Make sure it's the right name.
You've got to pause and listen as well. It's really hard. If I tell you, we've got to get up this hill in 10 minutes, guys. It's really hard. Your senses drop out as you're paying attention. So you're going to be more effective in rescuing somebody or finding somebody if you slow down and pause.
So we've just done a search and rescue here on the summit of Lough Rig. We fanned out around the summits here and we found our casualty sat here, and he had a simulated ankle injury, and now we're just doing a debrief on how to deal with that casualty, looking after the group, and a general debrief on first aid considerations, whether to move the casualty, keeping warm. Okay, great session. So we got down from the search and rescue, still day 3. Next we're going to do river crossing, how to assist with a river crossing, how to make one. Perhaps not too relevant to many parts of England, but definitely relevant to Scotland. So I'm not going to film this, but we're going to cross this river halfway and back, so should be great.